X-travaganza.
Yeah.
Welcome,
X-Men.
welcome back to Geek Out here in Old Town Burleson. As always, I'm your favorite bearded hero, Charles, not Xavier, and this is my sidekick, Chandler. Maybe Magneto.
I'd like to be.
I mean,
He's got a sweet hat.
He does have a sweet hat.
I really like that. It's awesome.
But as always, on Mondays, it is the Charles and Chandler Show, and today we are going to run through tomorrow's DC Comics real quick, and then we will be talking about the X-Men, the comic and the video media. So a little bit of the shows, a little bit of the movies, and the good times, the bad times, and the really, really bad times.
They've had a few of those.
Because there's been a few really good times.
Oh yeah, X-Men 2 is really good.
It is.
And Origins Wolverine is just the worst thing ever.
I wouldn't say ever, but it's really close.
It's pretty bad.
But,
This is pretty
so let's
bad.
run through these DC comics real quick so we can start ranting about dumb stuff.
Yes.
It's not dumb stuff, it's cool stuff.
They're all
It's
good
fun
stuff. Yeah, the
But
comics
anyway.
are great too. You got
Alright,
Action
cool.
Comics.
Action Comics 1047. Don't let the big number intimidate you. New story arcs are coming.
Yeah, that's
Um,
actually the first chapter in one.
Yeah,
Kal-El
Kal-El returns. Kal-El returns.
Yeah, he's been gone for a minute. And he's back.
He has been. So it's a
Yeah.
great jumping off point to get back into Action Comics.
Yeah.
Speaking of books with very high issue counts, Detective Comics 1064.
That's such a good cover.
It is such a good cover. The
It's
last
wonderful.
few issues have had this new cover style.
I know. I really like it.
I do.
It's
really
great.
sharp.
Yeah.
And if you didn't like that cover, there's a B cover for it. So
Not as good.
It's not as good. It's still pretty,
It's
but
still
not
nice.
as good.
Yeah, it's still nice, but come on.
Yeah. It's not a complete week until there's too many Bat issues.
Yeah, true.
Batman: The Audio Adventures, issue 1. So new limited series. So getting some of them old 30 style stories.
Yeah.
Deathstroke Inc. 13. So,
Deathstroke's still doing his thing.
Yep.
Being a shit dude.
Yep.
I
But
like
he
him.
gets paid to do it.
That's true. That's true.
He's only shit if he gets paid.
Yeah.
This is probably the best cover of the week, though.
But yeah, probably.
Harley
It's pretty
Quinn,
good.
issue 22.
Yeah.
Dark Knight Returns homage cover. You got the Bat and you got Miss Harley instead of Robin. Very cool.
I always love that pose, the big,
Yep.
it's great.
The one moment in Frank Miller's art that's
Oh, come on, it's pretty good. This is
it is pretty good.
Oh,
Harley
that's
Quinn
for a
22.
time. That's a good cover as well, actually.
That is really good.
Yeah.
With the hyenas laughing it up.
Loving it.
All right, this is one of your favorite books.
This is the best book of the week for sure.
Human Target.
Human Target's back, and it is finally off hiatus, and it's still like the best book. It's great. It's so good. Like
Still
10 out
Tom
of
King.
10.
Yeah.
Beautiful art. Incredible.
This is probably gonna be my pick of the week.
That's also very good.
Nice House
Yeah.
on the Lake, issue 7. It's back from hiatus because it's.
I think it's like 10.
I don't know why I said that. Yeah, it's number 10. Yeah, it's 10.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty far
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, it's been off for a few months, hasn't it?
Yeah, they took like a couple month break somewhere in between there. Yeah.
Awesome.
Such a good book.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
really good.
really good.
Really cool.
Yeah. Tinian horror again.
If everybody's still on the Sandman hype for Netflix, part of the Sandman universe, Nightmare Country.
Yeah, the Corinthians book.
Corinthian got his own book.
It's pretty good.
So be freaked out by Eyemouth guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Everybody's least favorite Robin.
Nope,
Tim Drake
false.
is getting his own book.
Tim Drake's the best. Look what they put on this one. It says world's greatest Robin.
He is not.
Suck it.
Hey, the best Robin is
Oh,
Burt Ward.
Yep. Yeah, I mean he's pretty good. I like Dick Grayson the best anyway.
Dick Grayson is the best.
He's
But
great.
Burt Ward's version of Dick Grayson is
It's pretty
cool.
good.
Hey, you got another cover for Mr. Tim Drake. Got that Harley Quinn 30th anniversary. She's about to drop an anvil on Mr. Robin there.
We don't need more Robins
Yeah,
dead.
we don't.
We really don't. Not him.
So what if I told you that one of the best classic book characters is coming back, but not in any way we've seen him before? Sergeant Rock. Now, a lot of you are like, Sergeant Rock, he was pretty cool, had the war comics back in the day. We sound really quiet. Okay, we will try to speak up then.
Octaves and tones.
All right, make sure the microphone's secure. But, so Sergeant Rock is back. But not only is Sergeant Rock back, he's back in a DC horror title.
Yeah.
It is Sergeant Rock versus Army of the Dead.
Yes.
This is actually my book of the week.
Yeah, I know, right?
But-
I was gonna change my mind.
But
too.
I got one better for you. Not only is it just Sergeant Rock versus Army of the Dead, so Sergeant Rock is fighting zombie Nazis, but it
Love
is
it.
written by none other than Mr. Bruce frickin' Campbell of Evil Dead fame himself. So Ash Williams is writing a Sergeant Rock book where he is fighting zombies, and I don't care. This is excellent. I don't like.
He would have been a good Sergeant Rock back in the day.
He
would
would've
have been a
been.
really
Yeah,
good
yeah,
Sergeant
yeah.
Rock. Yeah.
But
He's got that
like,
kind of tone for it.
He does.
Yeah.
But it also has this really cool Virgin variant.
Yes, that is the ones that you'll get out of these.
Yes, that is
Bag
that is
ones.
the polybag version.
Yes.
It's the polybag cover, so it's super cool. What'd you do with the polybag?
I mean, I threw it away.
Okay, fair.
I opened it.
Yeah, did you save the polybags? Man?
It's for what? They're all torn up.
And then you got the B cover. I always save my polybags.
I get you. Interesting.
Let's kill them twice.
I-
Join Easy Company.
That's
So-
probably my favorite cover.
that
of
is a
all
really
this.
awesome
It's
cover.
good stuff. Yeah.
But yeah,
Francesco Francavilla.
so DC Horror presents Sergeant Rock.
That's gonna be really good.
Oh yeah. So it's gonna be ridiculous. More classic style Superman.
That's a good one.
Space Age #2. If
That's
you
a really
like,
good one.
if you like vintage old school Superman, really solid.
Yes. Written by one of the best in the biz, Mark Russell. He's
Yep,
great.
yep, Mark Russell is pretty great. And the last regular book of the week, Task Force Z,
Yeah.
#12.
I think it's the final issue.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. And we just talked about Jason Todd. It's Jason Todd.
Dead.
He's dead.
Another dead Robin.
Dead
Again.
Robin.
Dead twice.
Dead
That's
twice.
stupid. That's
Speaking
so
of
shit.
dead, how about
Yeah.
Dead Man? So this is an all ages graphic novel. Dead Man is a weird one to choose for an all ages graphic novel, but
That's so cool though.
he is
I
Dead
love
Man Tells the Spooky Tales
Yeah.
by Franco. So
Franco's
it's
a really good writer and
it's
artist
just
too.
it's just like it's kind of like Goosebumps, but all just curated tales by Dead Man. So pretty fun stuff.
Art's really good. for
Art
a
is
kid's
really
book,
good
too.
for a kid's book too. Yeah.
Nuts.
We're continuing the push of the new Black Adam movie
Yeah.
with another trade paperback that has been re-released with The Rock's likeness on it. So Black Adam JSA Black Rain by Jeff Johns.
Just a story arc from JSA back in the day when
Yep.
Jeff Johns was writing. Rags Morales drew it though, and he's a great artist. I actually really like Rags.
That art is really solid.
Yeah, like it's kind of that like perfect, or,
Yeah.
early mid 2000s kind of style, like
Yep,
Ed,
yep.
Ed McGuinness and people
Like
like
just
that.
look at that's
That's good stuff.
just good stuff.
Yeah, man.
So more Black Adam.
Uh-huh.
To bring hype around that movie.
Yes.
Next is Titans United. So
Yes.
this is Titans United Volume 1, Issues 1 through 7. So if you like your Teen Titans, there you go. You got your
Yeah.
Superboy, your Beast Boy, your Nightwing, your Starfire, and all them. Now this was a really fun book last year.
This was a great
Dan
book.
Jurgens' Blue and Gold.
Yeah.
It had been a minute since we got some Booster Gold and some Blue Beetle team up, but it's
Been a long time actually.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But so you got that short little story arc
a good
right
one.
there. It is.
It's so stupid and funny, and it's just everything. It's everything you want. It's great.
And gearing up for Halloween time, Volume 1 of DC vs. Vampires. Nice hardback. This has actually been a really solid, fun book. Great artwork in it. Again, Tinian. Tinian does his horror really good.
Yeah, he's kind of killing it.
He really is. Next, this was really solid last year. So we got the deluxe edition of Sean Murphy's Curse of the White Knights. This has been a really cool story. I like this. I like the White Knight universe. It's honestly
Oh,
one of
it's
my,
really good.
It's honestly
Yeah.
one of my favorite alternate universes for Batman.
It's kind of nice. It's like an auteur-driven kind of. It's all Sean Murphy's work, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, really good stuff.
And
He
this
still writes
one,
and draws everything too, right?
I believe he does. No, Jansen's
Oh, you
doing
got Klaus Janson on there.
Yep.
Of Daredevil.
Yeah, this one is the answer. I get them mixed up because there's been this is the third story arc, I think.
Yes.
No,
No,
wait,
that's the second one.
Yeah, this is the second
That's
one.
the
Anyway,
second one. The third one's going on right now. That's the Beyond.
The Beyond, yeah.
Yeah.
So they've done a few, and they've done some side stories, like they did Harley Quinn and a few
Yeah, there's a
others.
Red
But
Hood
all
one
there's a
going
Red
on.
Hood one. Like
Yeah.
all of the White Knight stuff has been a really cool universe.
They're good stories. They're
they really
very
are.
solid. Yeah.
Pretty shocking twist in the last one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And your trade paperback of the week is going to be Volume 1 of Tom King's The Human Target.
Yes, it's good. Read it, please. It's really good.
Anything that'll shut him up about Miracle Man.
By the writer of Miracle Man. Or Mr. Miracle.
Yeah.
Fuck, you got me that time. Damn it.
Anyway, okay, so that's all the new comics that we got for today. Of course, tomorrow we will be back with the DC, or the Marvel and the Independents. But since we're done going over the new DC books, then I guess it's time to talk about.
It's great.
All right, so
Yes.
X-Men. X-Men is everyone's favorite team of mutants that was created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee
Yes. Yeah.
in 1963.
Probably a ripoff of Doom Patrol, but they got more popular, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
So
And they're kinda
it's been one of the biggest books since the 1960s. It was heavily inspired by the American Civil Rights Movement.
Yes.
So you have Charles Xavier, who wants everybody to get along and coexist peacefully, and Magneto, who wants for...
Let's kill humans, because they kind of suck.
I mean, we do. But,
Yeah. He went through the Holocaust. It's a whole thing.
Yeah,
Like he's got a good point.
yeah. So, it has been one of the most popular franchises since the late 60s, or early 60s, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was 63. They were
60, yeah,
through.
63.
Oh, you got it pulled up.
I do have it pulled up. We're using a
That's
cheat
cheating.
sheet. I am.
That's
Hey,
cheating.
we're using a cheat sheet because I didn't bring my notes.
I'm not. I refuse. I'm gonna look right in the camera. So everyone at home, I'm looking right at you.
We do sound quieter, Grace. I don't know. My microphone's working. Let's see. More settings, audio. Hey.
It's fine.
Well, I guess. Okay. I guess we'll just speak up. Speak up,
Yes.
Chandler.
Talk with purpose.
Use your big boy voice.
Yeah.
So I don't know why the camera. I don't know why we're getting a lower tone than
Just
usual.
lean in.
We'll
Yeah.
just get closer.
You want to hear some stories?
You want us to talk about some stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about mutants and racism.
Yes,
Yeah.
because that is a constant recurring theme in X-Men.
All
which
the time.
It's,
Yeah.
I mean,
They got
that's
rough
really
trot.
all it is.
Yeah.
Have I tried turning it off and turning it back on again? You know, let's try to unplug the microphone and then we'll plug it back in.
Yeah. How's that?
Is that better?
Is that better?
Is that better? Does it sound better? Do. Hello. I mean, of course, the one time our microphone's not working right, we actually have a handful of people watching. Anyway.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So, it sounds the same. Okay. So, let's just pull that. How does it sound now? Does it sound better? Are we good? Does it sound... We're just changing up our... Hello. Or we can do.
I guess that is more fitting for right now.
Same. Okay. Well, I guess that it's just going to.
It'll be fine.
All right. So,
Everybody, turn your volumes to max.
yep. Just blow out your speakers.
We're gonna yell.
We will speak louder. All right.
Yes.
Cool. So, 1963, Mr. Stanley and
Mr. Chandler made
Mr.
X-Men. Yeah.
Mr. Stanley and Jack
tell
Kirby
anybody.
brought us the X-Men into our world, and since then we have all been subjected to their wonderful stories and multiple teams, including New Mutants, Excalibur, X-Force.
Oh my God, there's so many.
Red,
Extra
blue, green.
Marauders, the Hellions, the ones that the Morlocks in the sewers. Those guys.
Yeah. So
They don't bring them out anymore.
basically, if you have a mutant ability, you are on a team,
Oh, yeah.
good or bad, and if you're on less than 3 teams, it's a surprise. Hi, Jason. Welcome
Yeah.
back to the party. So, yeah, I mean, at this point right now with the comics, they had a bit of a renaissance a few years ago.
Oh yeah,
it-
Hickman
Hickman blew it up with
did a great job.
with House of X and Powers of X and
Yep.
changed the whole meta in X-Men, and it has been really, really cool stuff. Right now, the best X book is probably Immortal X-Men.
Oh, it's definitely Immortal X-Men. That book is it's a Mr.
but-
Sinister book.
And
Like, that's great.
Right now, there is, if you wanted to read X-Men, good luck, because there is X-Men, X-Men Red, X-Men Green, X-Men, Immortal
There's
X-Men,
Immortal X-Men. Excalibur.
Excalibur, New
Marauders.
Mutants, Marauders,
Yeah. What else we got?
X-Men 92, X-Men House of 92,
Legion of X.
Legion of X, X-Men Legends,
Yeah. Those are like one shots.
Exterminators just launched.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I forgot about that.
And technically, you have the Judgment Day event going on right now, which
is
is
an X-Men
Avengers, X-Men, and Eternals. So there are
Yes.
13 ongoing X-Men books. So if you want your X-Men, we got them.
Also,
There's lots of X-Men.
Judgment Day's got a bunch of tie-ins that are very much about X-Men. There's a Death
Yes.
to Mutant series going on right now.
Yes. We didn't even
Um,
say all the tie-ins for AXE. So,
A bunch.
needless to say, 13 X books. So
Yeah, and that's kind of how it's been since like Claremont in the '80s essentially was killing it, doing all the big stories that you know, Dark Phoenix, Sentinels, Days of Future Past, yada yada. He was doing an incredible job, and they were essentially like, "Hey man, you should do this again," and in another book, and they were like, "Do you want to hand it off to another writer?" And he said, "Hell no," and so he made the New Mutants. And then they're like, "Oh, we like that one. Let's do another one. Here's Excalibur. You gonna let someone else write that?" No. And it went on and on and on until he probably cried himself to sleep every night.
yeah.
Yeah, but still, those were his characters. And he
So-
had them.
So the first time we saw the X-Men on our screens in any type of real impact was X-Men the Animated Series, which was in 1992 on Fox Kids.
Mhm.
So we all sat. Well, I mean, you didn't because you weren't alive yet.
I
but-
caught the reruns.
But Saturday morning cartoons, yes, Grace, it was the best iteration of X-Men. Lots of things
Pretty
taken
much.
straight from the page.
Yeah.
Even the things that weren't taken straight from the page that they played with were still very, very much solid stories.
Yeah.
It was a lot more mature of a show than you probably should have been showing a bunch of 8-year-olds.
I mean, it's fine.
But
it's fine.
the 90s were a weird place, as we've discussed on this show before.
Yeah, kids gotta
um,
learn eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I mean, you got to learn about racism and
Murder.
murder and
Grabbing onto somebody until they go into a coma.
love triangles and
Oh,
yeah. So
Affairs.
yeah, affairs and
Yeah.
questioning your sexuality and yeah, all sorts of
It's
things. Were
great
just it's
stuff.
totally great thing.
Yeah.
But yes, it was very, very cool. Even if it wasn't already on the nose enough of mutants and being related to racism,
Yeah.
we also had just good old fashioned racism in it.
Oh, well, totally. Yeah.
Because even the mutants didn't like Nightcrawler. You remember that?
Yeah.
They
He's
were like,
blue,
he's
ew."
blue. Oh.
Let's go hang out with Beast instead.
Yeah, let's go hang out with the blue hairy guy, but the blue
ridiculous.
not hairy guy is weird and
Because
gross.
he looks like the devil.
Exactly.
But he's such a nice guy.
He is. He's like the
wonderful-
nicest
He's
person
the
in
nicest
like
X-Man,
he's
probably.
easily the nicest
He's
X-Man.
like all Catholic and stuff.
Yeah,
He's always
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to help people. It's
He's one of them good religious extremists.
yeah. He's not pushy.
Yeah, he's not pushy. He just wants
wants to help you
everybody. He
out.
just wants to help you. Wants everybody to be peaceful.
Yeah. His X-Men book actually, that's going on, is actually about him making a mutant religion, and it's super good. It's really interesting. It has a lot to do with Legion too.
Ooh. I forgot. Legion just ended though. Didn't it?
The Legion of X.
Oh no, yeah, Legion of X. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They're-
replaced
they're-
Legion with Legion of X. Yeah.
They're
okay.
like Way of X and then Legion of X, and then
Yeah.
they're doing it like trilogies, which is nicer.
But anyway, it gave
record
us
stuff.
it gave us the first time that a lot of us got to see the X-Men, and that's where a lot of people were introduced to the X-Men.
Mhm.
Was the animated series, which they're bringing back on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Next
interesting.
year, which is
Yeah.
cool. They just finished. I read something. They just finished all the voice acting for it. So
Really? Oh, I
yeah,
didn't know they were that
so-
far in.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
pretty deep into it.
Okay. Nice.
And yes, Grace's favorite X-Men is Beast because he's blue and
Nice.
because he likes his books.
I do love Beast. Beast is great. Kelsey Grammer was the best choice ever.
that was a surprisingly good choice.
Oh, it's perfect. Everything I wanted.
But we did have X-Men Evolution, which we don't talk about.
I kind of like Evolution.
It wasn't bad. It was so.
There's no need to make Spike an interesting character, but
it hit that late '90s. Everything has to be extreme.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it wasn't. It didn't hit the same way that the animated series did. And then, of course, we had a more kid-friendly Wolverine and the X-Men, and then we had the anime version. So that's all the animated versions of X-Men. The anime one was actually pretty solid. It was pretty fun.
Was it? I never watched it.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't great, but it was solid.
Yeah. You know my rule. American comics. Let's get the weeboo stuff out of here.
I thought we're accepting of things that are different.
I think they're great. No,
I'm just
American comics. They win.
All right, so
movies.
Yeah. Which there's some great ones and there's some bad ones, and depending upon how much we ramble about the great ones, is going to determine how deep into this list we get today. we know it's going to be a. We know it's going to be a. What? Stop.
What are you doing?
All right. So we know it's going to be a rough journey.
It starts off
really promising.
I mean, it's promising for sure.
So remember,
yeah.
Chandler, not to call you out, but what year were you born?
I was born in 1996.
Okay. So.
And yes, I did see this when I was like 5 years old.
Exactly, and that's fine.
And it was the best.
It was. So, being from 1996, you didn't have the dark ages of like the Captain America movie that we've referred to in the past.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And like you probably saw them, but like that was like top tier superhero stuff whenever I was a kid.
It was the best we had.
That was the best we got. So whenever we got X-Men in 2000, that was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like it was better than any other comic movie that we had seen to that point.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Maybe, but I think Blade's better than this.
Okay.
The first two are really good.
But here's the thing, and this is what I'll tell you. At that point, if you didn't have a local comic shop and you didn't read a lot of comics, then your only exposure to comic book characters were the Batman movies, Batman in the animated series, X-Men the animated series, and Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Those were the biggest ones. And that was the extent of your exposure. So when Blade came around, Blade got like one episode in the Spider-Man cartoon.
I think he got a little arc.
Maybe. I think he might have got a 3-episode arc, maybe.
They
at
doubled
most.
up on him and Morbius, I think.
Yeah, they did. But okay, so you got 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So that was it.
You got a little time to get to know him.
But we got 4 years of X-Men.
Yeah.
And now we see them in real people.
Yeah, in real people.
Yeah.
Casting's pretty good across the board,
too. The casting was great across the board. A lot of people were giving feedback because Hugh Jackman is a giant and Wolverine is supposed to be like my height.
He's like short. He's supposed to be like 5'3" or so.
Is he shorter than me?
Yeah. Okay. He's supposed to be a little angry Canadian nugget, you know? That's why he's so low whenever he like bends down, you know?
Jason, so they are actually, new series or redone series, they are actually doing a straight sequel to, it's called X-Men 97, and they're doing a straight sequel to the 92 show where it left off, and they got almost all of the voice actors that are still alive, they got them to reprise their roles. So it's literally going to look the same, sound the same, and be a continuing story.
Man, what if they went like the House of X, Powers of X route, where it's just like, that would be super cool.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be really interesting.
X-Men came out in 2000 to the theaters. Bryan Singer was the director, and Bryan Singer has given us some pretty awesome movies.
Yeah.
And he's given us
Superman,
and he's given us some pretty shitty ones.
Yeah. That
we've already talked about. But yeah, like I said, we had Hugh Jackman, you had Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Ian McKellen as Chandler, Halle Berry as Storm. So really, they got Famke Janssen, James Marsden as the cop.
Cop.
He's Cyclops is your favorite. You're a cop.
He's a great choice for Cyclops,
He really is, 'cause he's a cop.
really underutilized in those movies, though.
He really is.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't seen Sex Drive,
Oh yeah, no.
watching
yeah.
X-Men and then watching Sex Drive, which is a raunchy comedy, road trip comedy, it's hilarious seeing that transition.
He's
he's
super
great. He's a great actor.
Yeah. He's very
Rebecca Romaine, who was like the hottest model at the time. Ray Park, who the only thing you know him from other than X-Men as being Toad is he's Darth Maul from Star Wars.
Ray Park's awesome.
Ray
He's
Park
great.
is awesome. And then Tyler Mane and Anna Paquin round out the main cast.
Oh yeah, Anna Paquin.
Anna Paquin
Always
is
forget
Rogue.
that.
Yep. So of course it focused on Wolverine joining the X-Men
Yes.
and Rogue getting pulled into, and
Yeah, she's kind of like your POV character.
Yep.
She's Kitty Pryde in the comics. You know.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have, of course, the whole conflict of them trying to convert people. Like Magneto gets
Oh yeah.
the thing where he tries to convert all the people to mutants so
Yeah.
that everyone's a mutant, so people don't hate mutants anymore.
He makes a mushy waterman.
He does make a
Yeah.
mushy waterman, which is very grody.
It always really got me as a kid. I was like, what the
It was
hell is
pretty
this?
gross.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. So, sorry, drunk ladies yelling outside the door.
It's a regular car. There's like
That's
3
Old
bars
Town
around us.
Burleson with
No.
surrounded by multiple bars.
Hilarious.
Yep, now they're just walking back and forth yelling outside. Whatever. They're not yelling at us. They're just yelling at their phones.
No, yeah.
Welcome to Old Town.
It's good stuff.
But yeah, so all in all, solid story. Solid special effects for the time.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's got that really stupid line that Storm says. Yeah. It's terrible.
What was it again?
What happens to a toe when it's struck by lightning? It's the same thing that happens to everything else. It's garbage.
Yeah.
Who wrote that? That's terrible.
David Hayter wrote that.
Oh, that guy?
Yep.
That guy had the failed Batman Year One too.
Yep. Anyway,
Not the move, David Hayter.
but yeah, so it was all in all, up to that point, probably the best that we had gotten on the big screen for superheroes.
Pretty much.
With the debate of, yes, Blade possibly was better.
There's blood in a nightclub, and it's awesome. That's the best. That's how the first one starts.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I always get the
Bloody
beginning of
nightclub.
Blade 1 and 2 mixed up because
yeah.
I'm old and it's been 20 years since I've seen it. Actually, I just rewatched them a couple of years ago. But anyway,
They hold up surprisingly well.
they do. They really do.
But yeah, X-Men is pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's solid.
It showed a lot of promise. I think it had a little room for improvement because ultimately it's kind of
It did.
basic.
It did, but
Yeah.
it was also introducing a lot of characters in a short
That
period
is
of time.
true. That is true. And their
So-
Sabretooth is dead on.
He's
He's got the big hair and everything. That's great. I love that.
It is. So with the success of that, they greenlit the good old sequel of X2, which came out in
X2.
2003, which was also directed by Bryan Singer, and was what many people consider to be the best comic book movie ever made.
Yeah.
Which-
at least at the time.
Yes, at the time, and some
It's
people
very
still
good.
do consider it. I don't know if I would still consider it, but
I mean, yeah, it's probably in like maybe a top 10.
yeah, I would put it in the top 10.
Yeah. It's
Um,
also kind of adapting like one of their most famous stories ever, the God Loves Man Kills, and
Yep.
they're also doing Sentinel stuff, and it's cool.
Oh yeah,
good.
and really solid story. Really solid. The expansion of the characters were very solid.
Oh.
We had almost the entire cast returned, except the ones that got either unalived or put in jail. Ian McKellen kind of finds a cool way to break out of prison.
Also, Nightcrawler's new, and
Nightcrawler,
he
yep.
is great. They did a really good job with him.
They really did do
Yeah.
a good job.
So,
with
what's his name,
Nightcrawler.
Alan Cumming?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's fantastic.
And he's always excellent in everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Brian Cox too is Stryker.
Yes.
People want to say Reverend. He's Doctor in this one because
Yep.
they changed it. He's phenomenal choice.
Oh, yeah.
Really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for a racist. Not Brian Cox, Stryker.
The character, yeah.
I mean, I can't speak to what Brian Cox gets up to in his daily life.
But yeah, so it was a very solid. Most people consider it, like I said, one of the best comic book movies ever made.
Yeah, it's really good.
Improve everything that was a shortcoming on the first one was improved upon in the second one and expanded. So they gave us more lore, more characters, and
good development of characters.
good
too.
development of characters, just
Yeah.
enough humor to make it enjoyable, but not so much that it's a Thor sequel.
Yeah. The scene of Wolverine trying to save the kids at the mansion too, where he just goes full out and just starts murdering all the guys. I love that. I think it's the best because Wolverine loves his kids.
He does,
He's
and
such
honestly,
a good guy,
it's,
sort of.
yeah, he just pretends like he's an angry little guy. It's really a whenever you see sequels, it's rare that sequels improve on the first one. And this is one of the examples where the sequel does do everything it can to improve on the first one, from special effects to casting to just everything. Just something that had a very high bar, just set the bar higher, and it also pushed movies like Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 to be better than they were.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is the best.
Yes, and a lot of people up until the recent new comic book films where it's the #1 form of media, everybody said X2 and Spider-Man. That was always the argument in the early 2000s was X2 and Spider-Man 2, which one's the better movie?
It's Spider-Man 2.
I lean towards Spider-Man 2 also.
But this is also
fun.
great.
But
not
this
to
is a great
disparage
movie.
it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're arguing over the two best things, I mean, both of them are solid.
Exactly. It's like apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Just the apple tastes a little bit sweeter.
As long as it's not a Red Delicious, because Red Deliciouses are basic and lame and don't taste good.
That's just it's a regular apple, man.
I know.
They're good. All apples are good.
Pink ladies are the best.
Pink ladies, nice.
They're the best.
That's what's up.
Anyway.
Oh, man.
And Honey Crisps are nice too.
So nice.
Anyway, and
Now
now
to some bad ones.
now we hang our head in sorrow.
This movie sucked.
This movie took one of the best stories that the X-Men '92 series did an exceptional job of adapting.
Yeah. That's because they just did the Claremont book.
Yeah.
They just did the same
They
thing.
did it. Yeah.
She just got a different costume.
Whereas this movie, X-Men 3 or X3 or X-Men The Last Stand, is fucking gross.
It's not very good. It's also like they took the Dark Phoenix stuff, which is a great story, and they also took the mutant cure thing that Joss Whedon had done in the comics like super recently. Both really good stories. And they're like, let's just do them at the same time, and they do not mesh.
Nope.
None of that meshes. Also, Brett Ratner made this movie.
Well,
Famous
so
maker of bad
Bryan
movies.
Singer and James Marsden, so Cyclops and the director left to go make Superman Returns.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we discussed our feelings about Superman Returns.
It sucked, and they unceremoniously killed off Cyclops. And, like,
Yes.
What he was in that movie for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, they
Literally
killed him in
first
the
5
opening.
minutes.
Yeah, it was a terrible
Dead.
opening scene. Actually, I mean, it was a kind of cool opening scene,
It was
but
alright. It was
also
alright. It looks cool.
It looks cool, and
but
it sets the precedent for some crazy stuff to happen.
Yeah.
And then instead of it being an intriguing, cool craziness that happens, it goes
bad
off the
stuff.
fucking
not very
rails
good.
and makes us all want to vomit in our mouths.
There's it also like the let's blow up Professor X. That looks cool. But
Yes.
but it's not very good.
No, it's not.
What else looks cool but's bad? Spike is in this movie very briefly for some reason. Why is Spike always shoved into?
And
Spike is a lame mutant. He sucks.
and Angel is really cool.
Oh yeah, and it's
However,
what's his name?
Ben Foster. And
He's
Ben
great.
Foster is great.
Yeah. He's a good
but-
pick, honestly.
And it was, but they like rammed that part in
He
a
also,
very
like-
unnatural way. I
He
mean,
didn't
like,
have like a finish to his story arc either. He
No.
was just kind of like, I hate myself for being a mutant. My dad hates it too. Mutant cure. Oh, I'm just an X-Man now. That's it. That's like his
Yeah.
whole thing.
yeah. It was.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Beast
they
is
try,
great though.
Beast is great.
So good in this.
they try to shove 10 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag.
Yep.
And
There's
that
a
bag
lot of
had
new
holes.
characters,
And
too.
that bag had holes in it.
Yeah. There's a ton of new characters in like Kitty Pryde, Juggernaut, Beast. Again, Spike for some reason.
Yep.
Like
What is your
There's so
hatred of Spike, bro?
he sucks. Like he's just a dude who shoots little bits out of his hand. It's not very. They're not even like metal. They're so breakable. Like it's so easy. What are you talking about?
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just
He
saying.
sucks.
I'm not saying he's good. I'm just like you have a hard dislike.
You're just trying to get me to have another aneurysm on the show.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It's kind of funny whenever he does. I mean, everybody's seen me do it because I'm an angry old man. But Juggernaut
Very
was
angry.
awful. That was probably my worst part about it was Juggernaut. Like, I even like the actor they chose for Juggernaut, but his look was like Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, Vinnie Jones, famous footballer, Vinnie Jones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Manchester, go Manchester.
Something like that.
You ever see?
I
Euro...
mostly know him for beating people up.
Talking. Yeah, if you've ever seen Euro Trip.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what you were talking about. I was like, I don't know what team you played for.
No.
I've just seen the videos of him.
Also,
if
you've ever seen Euro Trip, my Euro Trip shirt.
Oh yeah, and it's X-Men and everything.
It's X-Men. Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty doesn't know.
That he's definitely having sex with your girlfriend, Scott. Yeah. Like 100%.
Anyway.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't such a cop.
Cyclops. The only thing Cyclops did,
like him.
the only thing that he did well was spawn freaking Cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually really like X-Man too.
X-Man is pretty.
badass.
Yeah, X-Man is pretty cool too. All right. So
anyway,
Last Stand was so fucking bad that they canceled the sequel.
Yeah. We can still milk Wolverine though.
We can totally milk Wolverine. So guess what we're going to do?
They made a Wolverine movie.
In 2009, we got X-Men Origins Wolverine.
It's worse.
And oh my God, if we thought Last Stand was bad, this movie was even worse.
It's so bad.
So, a few things about this
Written
movie.
by David Benioff.
Yeah.
This is the guy who wrote Game of Thrones. Like the show.
Yeah. And we
What
saw
the
how the
hell?
last season of that went. But okay, so Wolverine Origins gives us the Weapon X program, and gives us it does give us Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
It does.
Wade
Technically,
Wilson.
they did do that.
So they
They
did
did
do
do
that. But that's
yeah.
that's the end of the good things about this movie.
And even that's not good.
And that's not good. Yeah, he did
Yeah.
he did good until they
per se.
sewed his mouth shut at the end of the movie, and for the
Yeah.
final weird fight scene that wasn't even really a fight scene because they blew the budget and they couldn't do any more.
Yeah, and it looked like a video game. And
Yep. Oh, okay.
it's-
So here's the cool
It's a whole
thing. So
thing.
okay, so this movie about a month and a half, actually like 3 months before it came out, leaked on like all the torrent sites.
That's right. I do remember that actually. Yeah.
But it didn't leak in its completed form.
Yeah, the special effects weren't finished.
The special effects weren't finished. So most of us comic book nerds that were able to get a hold of a torrent copy of Wolverine Origins, which I might have somewhere in my DVD
I
collection
know,
still.
right? Yeah, it's on some old hard drive somewhere.
I had a hard copy of it.
Of course, nice.
It literally is, if you've ever seen mock-ups of just like, this is a truck. It's so laughably bad.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets worse. So in those scenes where he's popping his claws,
Yeah.
in the
that
mock-up,
one's
and
unfortunate.
we knew we were watching a torrent movie, so we're like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, that's fine. I'm just getting the story because I want it.
Exactly, yeah.
Because, Hugh Jackman's awesome, and that last movie was so bad, this'll redeem it. I
Right,
know it
yeah.
will.
And there's a
And
whole
the-
talk of like a
And the
bunch of
opening
Origins
scene,
movies.
the opening scene is so awesome.
Oh, it's
and you're
great.
like, yes, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
And then it just goes downhill from there, hard and
It
fast.
tanks, yeah.
And-
pretty quick.
So we're just accepting the bad special effects. But then it comes out in the movie theater, and we go to see it in the theater because we already acknowledged it was a bad movie. But at the time, I actually had an off-duty job where I worked in the theater, so I got to go see it for free.
Ah,
So I
nice.
may as well.
Well, good thing you didn't spend money on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. The special effects didn't get much better.
No, they got.
I mean,
Man,
like,
everyone talks about it, but it really is like
It's-
those claws look
it's
terrible. Like they look terrible.
this is a more believable Wolverine claw than
Literally,
what we got in
yeah.
the movie. But
It's
yeah,
so dumb.
it's terrible.
What's up with that one guy who's just like, they're like he's a mutant, but all you ever do is see him shoot guns.
Yeah.
They never explain
yeah.
that.
Nope.
Like,
I
is he
think
a
he had. I don't remember which character he was, but
He's
I know
a character
exactly
from the comics.
Yeah, he is a character,
like,
but
not
like,
a popular one. This
No,
is
no.
an obscure one, but like still, it's like Agent something.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So it's Wolverine
bad.
Origins. It's so bad.
It's written terribly. It looks bad. Hugh Jackman, God bless him, doing his best.
Yep. Hugh Jackman was a shining star in that very, very steaming pile of bullshit.
There's that bit where they're like, there's a story about a Wolverine.
Oh, I'm going to tell you how I got my
Let
name.
me tell you about Wolverines.
Yeah.
And he's all like, oh, that's stupid, babe. Let's make out. You know?
Yep.
And,
No.
yeah. It's dumb. It's really dumb.
So it was really bad, and it tried way too hard, and there was just way too much, and it was just. Yeah, Gambit had his moment. Like, he wasn't terrible.
He was
like,
certainly in it.
He was certainly in it, and he wasn't the worst part of it.
No, that belongs to the CGI claws.
Yeah, the CGI claws were easily the worst. Not the weird explosions where they wouldn't have been exploding like that. That was really obvious. But
Also,
the
like,
weird claws that cut through porcelain.
Yeah, that's weird too. Also, like, one, Cyclops is there at the end of that movie. And how does he not just... That doesn't make any sense. You know, because how would he not be like, hey, I remember that guy. He killed a bunch of people and saved me. I think you'd remember a man who literally growls at everything he does and then slaughters people.
No.
Right in front of you.
Origins was before. Oh, yeah. You're saying okay, yeah.
He would those other ones.
Yeah, in 2000 in the 2000
One
movie.
of the kids was Emma Frost too. Apparently, she did the diamond thing.
Yeah,
which is also a secondary mutation. That doesn't. It's fucking. I need to stop. I need to stop.
So that was.
I don't like Wolverine's origin. It's not very. It wasn't good in the comics either. It's bad.
It's not bad. It's just.
It's not very good though either.
No. Like, I was born to have this. Weapon X is a decent story.
Weapon X is a good story.
Weapon
like
X
Wolverine
cool.
origin,
the
whole James Howlett stuff, all that can go to hell, honestly.
Yep, it's kind of wacky.
Weapon X is good, though.
So again, that one was so bad that they were like, let's cancel this whole Origins idea because they were supposed. The next movie was supposed to be Cyclops.
They were doing a Magneto one, I know that.
And they were supposed to do a Magneto one.
That kind of got shuffled into the next movie.
Yeah. So, but that continuity shit the bucket so hard that they decided to reboot the franchise.
Yes, and they got a good one again.
They did. We're back to the good stuff.
Matthew Vaughn made this too.
So,
he makes some good. He made Kingsman.
Oh yeah. Which is
stuff.
a really good movie.
Hell yeah.
Based on a comic book written by Mark Millar.
You know,
he has his good.
He has his moments. Yeah.
He has Kick-Ass.
I wouldn't count Kick-Ass.
Hey, the first Kick-Ass was great.
The movie Kick-Ass is good. The comic
was. The first one was good. Anyway,
I like John Romita Jr.'s art though. That's really good.
That's really good. Anyway, that's a whole different story for a whole different day, and we're in X-Men time.
Mark Millar quit writing people like they're assholes.
Yeah.
Gets on my nerves.
Is this like Cine screwing up Spider-Man? Sony screwing up Spider-Man? No.
X-Men tried it so many more times.
Yes.
They're kind of worse, if anything.
Yes. And the fact that the two people that really kind of tied together the X-Men franchise jumped ship to go make a shitty Superman movie.
And then Matthew Vaughn made a really good template, and then he just dipped out to go do movies about people shooting each other.
So X-Men First Class in 2011. Solid movie.
It's a good movie.
Back to the good introduction of characters. Tells us the backstory of Xavier and makes it compelling. Gives us a very solid Magneto backstory, and then building the team while they were still friends.
Yes, and they're so well done in that movie. Like Charles and Magneto's relationship, it's magnificent.
It really is.
It's really
they
good.
really do play off each other really well.
Like you believe them as friends.
You do, and then that's why as things get later in it, and it just goes like they have their breakdown, it just makes it that more emotionally impactful.
It's rough stuff.
John Romita Jr. is not good at all. No, he's not good at all. He is exceptionally awesome.
He's amazing. I mean, nowadays he's getting older. He
is. I mean, like
old Daredevil days. Daredevil was fighting vacuums and stuff. Woo! It's great.
I don't know if that would be the reference I would use, but yes,
he drew it and it was awesome.
Yes, John Romita Jr. was in his heyday, and it was
killer. Everything was in the rain.
Yep,
it's glorious.
All of it.
Love JR.
So First Class during the Cuban Missile Crisis, so we get a whole different timeline.
Yep.
We have so it's a complete reboot ish.
sort of.
Um,
They kind of fucked that up later too.
yeah. We'll get into that. And we get a brief cameo by good old Wolverine, who tells him to fuck off.
That part
That's
is great.
That's their one PG-13. That's their F-bomb for their PG-13 movie.
You get one.
You get one. And it was well placed.
Yeah.
So I mean, really solid, really great story.
It's very much inspired by like the early like 60s Jack Kirby kind of stuff too. The suits that they have like look pretty much exactly like the little League
classic,
X-Men
yep.
#1. Yeah.
Yep, the first couple of years.
Yeah, they got the yellow and blue suits. Yeah, they didn't keep those for very long.
They didn't.
I like
them. So next, chronologically, we're back to
Wolverine.
Mediocre. So
it's okay. It's okay.
That's why I said mediocre.
The rated R cut is a little bit better.
It is. It is. So we get the Wolverine, which kind of ignores origin, but
it
doesn't.
essentially ignores. Yeah, it basically ignores origins.
It kind of ignores origins. And
it's actually the more I think about this is actually kind of a good movie.
It's not bad.
It's not
It's
bad.
mediocre.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
a nice action romp. Like he goes to
got some
Japan
good
and you get
moments.
the Silver Samurai story.
Yes, yeah.
And
Viper's there for some reason.
Yep, and it's
she didn't contribute a lot to this. Story.
You get the
Let's say
you get
Darren Aronofsky was hired to direct this at one point.
yes.
That would have been a mistake.
But it was delayed, and
That would have been a mistake. He made something weird. Weird
But
and
yeah.
not okay.
So it's and this one was based on the Claremont and Miller stories.
Yes,
So
the first Wolverine series that there ever was, which is very good, by the way. Got great art. Frank Miller's got good art.
Yep. Okay, that was pre Frank Miller going crazy.
Cocaine
yeah.
Frank. Yeah.
But yeah, the Wolverine, solid.
Solid.
It was during the time. It did come out during the 3D craze, where everything was a
did.
3D movie,
It did, yeah.
and it had some really forced 3D shots that were really kind of overdone and
They didn't
annoying.
need to be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was at the time. It's, in the
Every-
studios,
yeah,
us to make money,
everything,
we
yeah.
all had to be Avatar. So this happened all the time.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
kind of just is what it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies did it, and it was disappointing.
Oh, which one?
Captain America: The First Avenger.
Oh yeah.
Did a
No,
3D
that did
version?
not. Well, they did the big shield shots.
It had 2 shield shots in it,
Yeah.
and everything else
Yeah.
was just depth perception, and it was just like,
Yeah.
why are we here?
This doesn't need to
Yeah,
be here.
it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I didn't need
Great
to spend
movie.
$4 extra per ticket
Right.
to get some silly sunglasses.
Yeah. That movie's better than Avatar for sure.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Dude, fuck yeah. I'm not excited for the sequels.
I'm mad that they re-released it and now it just be Endgame.
Did it really?
Yeah, it's back
That's
on top.
stupid.
It is. Let's re-release.
Avatar's not that. It's okay.
bad.
It's fine. It's not. It's just
Okay.
Dances with Wolves. It's the same thing.
Pocahontas.
It looks nice.
It's long and boring.
Ferngully. What other ones
Yeah.
was it like?
Yeah,
We could
yeah.
keep going forever.
It's derivative, long, boring, and anyway.
And it looks cool.
And it
That's
is.
about it.
I will say this with 100% certainty. Not only is it my least favorite James Cameron movie,
Oh yeah.
it is his worst movie, and it is the only one of his movies that I will call bad. I
He's
love
gotta have
James
something
Cameron,
worse than that.
except Avatar.
Except Avatar. Well, that's because it's boring.
It is really boring.
It is what it is.
Anyway,
Can't believe that they're making it again.
2 sequels.
It's been like 13 years.
Why?
It's
Anyway,
ridiculous.
I wish
Yeah.
Disney would have just been like, oh yeah, we're gonna leave Endgame at the top.
Like James is just getting you submarine, and we just don't want to see you again.
Yeah, pretty much.
We know you still got it.
Anyway, Chris, don't waste the 3 hours of your life trying to watch it. If you saw Ferngully's shorter and more fun.
And Ferngully's nice.
It
It's a
really is
good
nice.
movie.
It makes you feel good, whereas
Yeah.
Avatar just makes you feel shitty for being a human.
It's also got Robin Williams in Ferngully. Like, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, come on. You're not gonna beat that.
Back to X-Men.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mwah.
Talk about Avatar some other time.
So, the Wolverine, decent,
Solid.
solid.
I'd say it's solid.
I
Yeah.
would tell you
It's a good
that
one.
if you have seen it, it's worth watching again. If you haven't seen it, it's worth watching.
Yeah.
It's
Wolverine literally gets nuked in it.
He does.
It's kind of awesome.
It's enjoyable. It is a good action movie. I would not say that it is great or on par with a lot of things that we enjoy, but
No, I mean it's like
it's
like a C.
yeah.
I'd say C plus.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's,
it's got some
it's a
good
good
moments.
way to pass.
It's got
And
some
and
good
if you
moments.
watch the after credit scenes, they give you a hint of the yellow suit, but you never actually ever get to see the yellow suit.
I would have preferred if they just did like the kind of brown and orange. I always thought that one looked the best, and it makes because they're darker worlds or whatever. That would make more sense.
Well, it was like a
you know?
brown and yellow. It was the brown and yellow.
Yeah, I mean it's shaded a little
It
different.
was shaded a little
Yeah.
different, but the point was there.
The costume that we've always wanted to see. That
Hugh Jackman wear was there.
He looks so dumb in it, honestly. If they did put him on.
Everyone would look dumb in that.
Oh yeah, X-Men costumes are pretty out there.
Yep.
They're pretty out there.
So, after we got the Wolverine, we bounced back to the other continuity of X-Men,
And this continuity too.
and this continuity too now apparently. And this is probably the best X-Men movie, excluding 2.
I'd actually say First Class. I quite like First Class.
Do you like First Class more than Days of
I
Future
just
Past?
like their interactions with Charles and Xavier, and
Fair,
also
it is really good.
I mean, okay, the entire reason that movie's better, Magneto, Nazi Hunter. Come on,
Okay, fair.
that stuff is awesome.
It is pretty.
Yeah.
So 2014 gave us X-Men: Days of Future Past, and
It's pretty good.
It is pretty.
It's
good.
pretty good.
It's
solid.
really solid. Has some iconic movie moments in it.
Mhm,
Quicksilver is brilliant.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is where that came about. Yeah.
Isn't what's the kid's name?
Evan Peters?
Yeah, Evan Peters. Yeah.
He did a great job.
Oh, yeah.
Great job.
What
Yeah.
doesn't he do good? Like I just started
guy's
watching.
great.
I just started watching that Jeffrey Dahmer show.
Yeah. I need to get on that.
He does a really good job with that.
He's just good. Guy's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great actor.
We
So
got the old cast and the new cast.
yep.
all
So you got
merging and mixing.
It's pretty wild. It gave us
Good stuff.
it gave us everything that we could possibly want in an X-Men movie. You got you basically retconned 3.
Oh, totally. Yeah. No, 3 didn't happen.
3 didn't happen.
Especially by the end of it.
Origins didn't happen.
This was kind of a cleaning house movie.
It was. It really
Yeah.
was.
We
You
need
got
fix
to
some
you got to
stuff.
undo the bad stuff but
Yeah.
keep the good stuff. And
Exactly.
it was a lot of fun. It was a very enjoyable film. It very heavy story. You had the whole
Sentinels.
Sentinels. Yep.
Yeah, I love
Sentinels
Sentinel stories.
and Peter Dinklage was there. And anytime there's Peter
Yeah.
Dinklage, he's fun.
The Dink is great.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. Yeah.
Do,
Yeah,
do,
no.
do, do.
Sentinels are always kind of the big threat in X-Men lore. Like there's always Apocalypse and Magneto and yada yada, but at the end of the day, it's robots that's gonna get them, which I always
Yeah.
loved.
Oh,
If
yeah.
that movie had Nimrod, I'd probably say it's a perfect movie. I love Nimrod.
And then let's see. So we hit Wolverine. We hit Days of Future Past.
And then it's another shit one.
Now we're back to the shit train.
Speaking of Apocalypse, they
This
did my
movie
boy
was
dirty.
a fucking apocalypse.
They did my boy dirty. I love Apocalypse. He looks stupid. Oscar Isaac is technically a good choice.
Hold damn it, Ron.
He
Himself,
I don't-
Moon Knight, Oscar Isaac is Apocalypse, and it's not that he looked bad as Apocalypse.
Oh no, he looked bad. He looked bad. It's
I couldn't even-
it's the character design.
Yeah, the
Like,
character. It wasn't his
he's a
fault.
good
like
pick.
he's a fine pick for it.
Yeah.
Olivia Munn was also in this,
She was. Yeah, that's
and
right.
she
Also, Apocalypse in that movie is like 5'6", which
Uh,
bothers me deeply.
yeah.
And he only, one thing I love about Apocalypse is he's got all these powers. He's crazy, immortal, super powerful. He's got celestial technology. He's insane. But at the end of the day, when all that fails, he just grows real big and goes smashy, and it's awesome. And they gave it to us in a dream sequence, and that I'm still mad.
There was nothing
Ugh.
good in this movie.
Yeah,
So
it's-
it was
it
a
pretty
it
much
was a it was a
sucks.
throwback to it was an 80s period piece.
Oh yeah, because they
Um,
started going. So First Class is in the '60s, Days of Future Past in the '70s, and this one's
Apocalypse
in
in
the
the
'80s.
80s.
The thing is, none of the characters age, so like at all. Like that's you like. Why'd they do that?
A little bit of
That's
makeup,
really
maybe at most.
Not even really.
They shaved McAvoy's head.
In this one, it
Yeah.
took them 3 movies to
To
shave
make
his
him go
head.
bald. Yeah.
What
So
the hell?
it's there's
It's
nothing.
bad.
It's bad. There's nothing good about this.
Apocalypse is one of the greatest
people
characters
need
in
hips.
comics.
He really is, and they took just
Short people. He's not a short guy. He's like 7 foot tall normally, and then sometimes he's like 20 feet tall. And Apocalypse is a great character. He's so great. He's so great, and he's so powerful. In this movie, they're like, what does he do? He knifes you with some sand, and he just goes over to people who are taller than him and asks them to do things, and that's your movie. That movie sucks.
And-
it's
and-
really upsetting.
and also we have to
Fassbender does a good
mention
job, though.
Brian Singer came back for this one.
Well, he came back for. Days
Oh,
of
yeah,
Future
yeah,
Past,
yeah, yeah.
And then this one.
And then
he
this one.
beat.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so he
I think it's
he
this
fixed
guy's
it
fault,
and he
though. I
fucked
think
it.
it's Simon Kinberg
yeah probably
because he has written some.
yeah
duds.
it was
I think he did Dark Phoenix on his own. Simon Kinberg.
yeah I
He also wrote Last Stand. Just so you know.
yeah.
Why do they keep bringing him back?
I don't know. I mean, they rebooted something because it was so bad.
And they brought it
and
back?
then they brought it back,
Yeah.
and it was still so bad. Only the strong will survive was the tagline for this movie, and I will say that
Apocalypse
yes.
gets got by a 14-year-old girl.
Well, you know,
I know it's the Phoenix.
children are our future, but that movie
Nah,
was
Apocalypse is the future because he's immortal.
yeah, that movie
They
was
just shat on my boy.
terrible.
It's the worst.
We will briefly speak about the spin-offs. Deadpool.
Oh, Deadpool.
Deadpool was.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's hilarious. It's great fun. It's very enjoyable. Ryan Reynolds redeems himself from that terrible Wolverine origins point, and it's
got a
excellent.
really good version of Colossus in it.
It does have an excellent version of
second one had
Colossus.
a great version of Juggernaut.
Yep.
And then the mutant that literally was in one panel and then died, Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah.
She literally got nuked. She was one of those on Genosha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was one of those.
Yeah.
And
So
she couldn't do that. She just saw the future.
so
She just thought the name was cool.
wish they'd make a good Green Lantern. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. But yeah.
That we'll get that eventually. Maybe.
No, we won't.
No,
Maybe
really
the TV
want-
show.
I think
Maybe if the TV show actually gets greenlit again.
just do the whole core.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the best way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. Get Guy
Um,
Gardner in there.
Guy Gardner. Man, they just need to make Guy Gardner and John Stewart show.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, just make
I
it a
would
buddy,
love
just
that.
buddy cop film.
Yeah.
Um,
the guy who's amazing and this other guy who just sucks and has a bowl cut.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
So with the complete dog shit that was Apocalypse, we go back to good things,
We get the best ones.
and we get the highest growth. Like it was like huge for an R-rated film.
Mm-hmm.
Old Man Logan, Mark Millar.
I know. But
Logan.
it's barely Old Man Logan though. Like
It is
but
barely
the
Old
only
Man
thing
Logan,
about
but Old Man
it's just
Logan
he's
was
old.
brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a great comic.
It is a great
I'll give Mark some credit sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But Logan takes
It's the best one.
takes the X-23 story and the Old Man Logan story, mashes them together,
Yeah.
gives us an Xavier that's aging and freaking losing his damn mind.
Mm-hmm. It's basically just a Western with Wolverine in it. And
Kinda.
I dig that. I think
And
that's
they're hunting
awesome.
down X-23, and he's just going ape shit on
Yeah.
people. Has some of the coolest death scenes ever.
Mhm. It's got Donald Pierce, a very underrated X-Men villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
He's really good in that movie too. Like I like that. The Corinthian guy.
oh yeah,
He's great.
yeah.
Fantastic.
It was excellent. You know, we might not need a part 2 for this.
Oh no, we're crushing
We
them.
are rolling through them pretty solid.
Yeah. Got this.
I mean, we ain't gonna keep it under an hour, but we'll keep it under an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, for sure. We got
absolutely.
this.
We got this.
Yeah. Logan.
Chris, you should
Just
watch
enough
Logan.
time.
It's really, really good.
It will make you cry aggressively.
Yes, absolutely.
In a oh god, nothing's okay kind of way.
Yeah,
But it's really good.
It hits hard and it hits well,
Mm-hmm.
and it is definitely an excellent film.
If you want to see Wolverine,
Go
stab some people
actual
in the face.
Wolverine, like the shit that
Yeah.
you wanted to see him do in the other movies. Like
Yeah.
he does it in this one and does
Awesome.
not.
There's a lot of stabbing. There's one where he just runs and jumps and just cuts through a man's head. And it's
There's one
pretty
where he
sweet.
literally just puts his hand at the dude's
Oh,
chin
yeah,
and
just-
just goes, and then
It's good stuff.
3 blades just pop out from his head. It's
It's great
so
stuff.
great, and you just see the fucking life go out of this dude's eyes.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's really really good.
Mhm.
So with the excellence that is Logan, one of the best comic book movies ever made.
Oh, straight up, yeah. One of the best ever.
We return
To Deadpool 2.
No, Deadpool 2. Okay, Deadpool 2
Deadpool 2
came
also
in.
happened.
It happened.
It's got
it was
Cable in
excellent.
it.
It's got Cable in it. Cable is my favorite X-Men.
Is he really?
Yeah, I love
No
Cable. Dude.
shit.
Cable's awesome.
I do like Cable quite a bit. The Deadpool and Cable comic series that Fabian did back in the day was phenomenal.
That's excellent. His the whole Messiah complex was
That's
like
a good story. The Brubaker stuff.
Yeah, Brubaker stuff. You know, I love my Ed Brubaker.
Oh, he's
with
the best.
With Ariel Olivetti on the art.
They don't do shit anymore, do they?
I know.
It's weird.
Weird.
Yeah.
We need more Ariel Olivetti.
That would be nice.
I know you're not watching it, but Olivetti, you're the best artist in comics.
Please.
Come back.
Yeah.
Do more things. But yeah. So anyway, Chris doesn't like crying.
It's very therapeutic.
Sure it is.
Totally is.
All right. So Deadpool 2, lots of fun.
It's a good one.
Had more X-Men in it than some X-Men movies.
It's got Fire Fist.
Yeah, it was so good.
It's great stuff.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But after Deadpool 2, we go back to what I will probably rate as it's easily the worst thing on this list.
You think so?
Oh God, yeah. It's
that's probably fair.
It's easily the worst thing on this list.
Yeah. I think for me it wasn't as disappointing because I was expecting terribleness like from the get-go.
Yes. After also, so this thing like it got delayed and had issues and like
there was a whole bunch of stuff.
2019 gave us dark.
See, they gave him top duties this time, Kinberg.
How?
Right? That's what I'm saying. Why would they do that? Like,
you just keep shit in the bucket and they just keep giving you that dude.
It's like Hollywood. You fail upwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
You still had some of the solid casting. Like I even enjoyed.
Like Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner.
She's a good choice for Jean.
She's a good choice for Jean. She was a
Jean.
great John. She was a great Jean.
John.
She was a great Jean. Jennifer Lawrence wasn't a bad.
Mystique.
Mystique. Yeah, there we go.
But she didn't want to be in these anymore, so they killed her off pretty quick. And like it kind of wasn't. Also, like there's a whole thing with like they wanted to use the scrolls, which one doesn't make sense because the Shi'ar are the ones tied to the Phoenix in the comics. Let me push my glasses up real quick and let me tell you about this. So the Shi'ar are the aliens that mess around with the Phoenix, but they were like, "No, we want scrolls and shapeshifters and stuff." And they figured out midway through production, apparently, Marvel's got those rights. We don't have those. So they just renamed it to some who cares what and just half-assed did it. And
they had the rights, so they had the rights to the scrolls.
Yeah.
And they lost the rights to the scrolls when they lost Fantastic Four.
That's right. Yeah, that's
so
right.
at the beginning of production, they did have the rights to scrolls, and it expired before they could get the movie made.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
thank God for that. We would have had scrolls ruined too.
I
like scrolls. They're cool.
So as bad as Apocalypse was, this is worse.
It is worse. I'm not as mad at it because they obviously
after Apocalypse, you kind of expect this to be shit.
And my feelings were hurt because I love Apocalypse.
I mean, Fassbender still did a great job. McAvoy still did a great job.
Great.
The actors like did what they could with what they had, but it was so badly written.
We didn't even get a good Gene.
Yeah,
I love when he yells Gene.
It was just it is one of the biggest, most famous stories, and
they've fucked it up twice.
Yeah, not just once. Twice.
And just like don't do
from the
other
same
stuff, just
writer.
do that. Yeah, it's the same.
He got a second chance. Well, I want to double check that. All right.
No, you can check it real quick. Yeah.
Last. Yep.
Boom. Isn't that dumb?
That is dumb. You wrote it bad once.
He did it twice. And the second time he directed it.
And the second time you wrote it and directed it
And it was worse.
And it was worse.
It was worse.
How
'Cause
did
at
you
least
do
last
it
Last Stand's got
worse?
a couple good things about
Like,
it.
yeah,
you
like,
know?
it does have a couple of it has a
Yeah.
couple of high
Yeah,
points.
like the mutant cure stuff. I actually kind of like that storyline.
Yeah, and that the final battle where they were like the siege.
yeah.
I mean, like they
That's-
had
yeah.
some cool
It's decent.
action set
You
pieces.
get the fastball special.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's great
You had
stuff.
some good set pieces in Last Stand, but
Yeah.
the movie as a whole sucked. This
This whole movie sucks.
was just bad.
It's really
It
bad.
was so bad.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
There's
you
just-
fucked up the same story twice.
It feels like almost like, well, I mean, it did have a bunch of production issues and stuff. It feels like a movie that's been cut to pieces.
It does.
Yeah, and
It
even
makes
then, the
little to no
pieces-
sense.
Yeah.
The things that should happen didn't. The things that shouldn't happen did. It was just in general.
The action sequences are boring.
They are.
They made a big deal before this movie came out. They're like, we're going to space, Phoenix, and X-Men spent a lot of time out in space in the comics, and we're
Yeah.
all like, oh, cool. And you know what they do? They go into orbit, they float around, they come back, and that's it. They didn't
Yeah.
do
It's like
fuck all
3
out in
minutes.
space. It's so bad. It's so stupid. I want to see some good stuff.
Yeah, but we don't. And now,
And now we come to
Finally.
another bad one.
I rank this as mediocre.
Mediocre.
I think that it had.
I think it
potential.
has similar problems though.
It does.
Delays and being shot to pieces.
So-
and yeah.
Last but not least, on our list of X-Men movies, we have The New Mutants, which came out in 2020.
Bet y'all forgot that even existed.
So, here's the thing. It was supposed to come out in like
Oh, it was like
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got
Yeah, it was,
delayed and delayed and delayed, and there was problems, and just kept on getting
Yep.
moved back, and COVID shit, and like all that.
They'd already delayed it like 3 times
yeah.
before COVID as well. Like, it was, like we were definitely getting it right before COVID, and then boom.
Yeah. So
Ridiculous.
we ended up getting it midway through COVID because they edited it from their houses.
Mm-hmm. They kind of try to do like a little horror take on it.
It's
which is
you
not a bad
know,
idea. They've had horror books, you know. They've
yeah,
been quite good.
I will say that it's solid. It's worth a watch.
I wouldn't say that.
Nah, it's worth a watch. It's not terrible. It's not
It's kinda terrible.
exceptionally great. It's good-ish.
I'd say
It is.
it's bad.
I will say this: it's different.
Oh yeah, at least it's something
and
different.
because it's
yeah.
different, it's worth giving it a shot. New Mutants down there with Dark Phoenix for me.
Yes, Caden.
Hey,
Hell
that's fine. And like I've talked to people that absolutely hated this movie, and I've talked to people that liked it a lot more than me. I think that because they went so far out in left field to make this movie, that it is solidly mediocre and gives a different look and gives it something different. It's not the same old fare. It's not
Yeah.
predictable. It is people who call it a horror film. I think that's
It's a little strong.
reaching.
Yeah. It's got horror vibes.
It has horror moments.
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness is more of a horror movie than
Oh,
this.
totally. It's
I
also
think-
more bright,
yeah,
colorful than
it
this
is.
movie. Yeah.
This movie is very dark, very damp. It takes place in a freaking like mental hospital.
It takes place
It's-
on a soundstage that they built, and you can tell because they're only in the one room like ever.
No, they actually did film it. at
In
a-
an asylum?
Yeah.
Oh, then they filmed it bad because it
Yeah.
looks bad.
Yeah. So So it's okay, and it's different. So I would say this is one of those ones, unlike things like Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix and Last Stand, where I will just look at you and say, save your time, they're bad.
Yeah.
I will say this is different enough that you will either like it a lot or you will hate it. I am sitting in the middle where it's just mediocre.
It also does like, I think a lot of the casting is really good, except for the two that I actually care about, which are Sunspot and Cannonball, and they're also not given hardly anything to do in that
Yeah.
movie. I love Sunspot.
it's-
He's great.
It's
Fantastic, very
unique. It's a unique movie, and it's a unique movie that had potential. Legion, I forgot
Oh,
all
a
about
TV
that
show?
TV
I could
show.
talk about Legion all day.
I
Yeah.
honestly, I wanted to watch it. I just haven't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. So Legion. It's about David Haller. He's basically Charles Xavier's son. Suffers from multiple personality disorder. Godlike powerful. So that's kind of the premise. He's crazy, and he's got the powers of God. So where's it gonna go from there? There's psychic dance fights. What else they got? There's really kind of trippy, like, kind of visuals, very like Twin Peaksy stuff. They actually do a very good take on the Shadow King, like very, very good take on Shadow King. Like, yeah, it's awesome. They do the monstery part and the real guy part too.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just very good. It's a very, very good show. If anybody out there's seen the Fargo show on FX, the same guy makes it. He's a really good writer. It's just good. I'd highly, highly recommend. Honestly, besides like Logan, that's probably the best one out of any of these. Yeah. It's really good.
I'll make sure I add it to my watch list.
It's only 3 seasons too. Pretty quick.
Yeah. So, surprisingly,
That's
we
pretty much
got
it.
through
Yeah.
We got
pretty much all of it.
Yeah, we got through that a lot faster than we expected to.
Yeah. That's a ton of stuff.
It is a ton of stuff.
We glossed over some of the stuff.
Yeah, we glossed over a handful of stuff because, I mean, we don't need to talk too much. What's funny is we probably talked more about the garbage than we did the good stuff.
We probably talked more about Avatar than we did any of these movies.
Fuck Avatar.
Fuck Avatar, man. They're not very good. It's just a bunch of blue people who keep having sex with each other by putting their hair together. And then they do that to animals. Did you ever think about that?
Yes.
They're fucking all these animals, and they're not even, like, making a thing of it.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you
No.
just bond with them to ride them.
The same way that
Yikes.
that two blue people bond is the way that you ride your animal. Yeah,
Your
Chris.
weird dragon.
Yeah. Oh, Chris,
And,
just
you
Oh.
haven't seen it. That is what
okay.
happens. Yeah.
So
their braids just kind of like do this little thing and they merge.
yeah,
And it's all like
so,
sexy and stuff.
Is it though?
No, it's not. It's weird.
Weird.
And then they do it to the animals when they ride them.
That's how they connect with the animals to be able to fly their little animals or ride their little horse things.
Super weird.
It's super weird.
Super weird. Have you ever heard about the James Cameron Spider-Man movie he almost made?
I have.
Yeah, and it had also had a bunch of weird sex stuff with animals. Well, spider stuff. It was spidery sex stuff. It's weird, and I'm so glad he was not allowed to make that movie.
You know, I'm going to verify something real quick.
What's that? What, that
Just-
he doesn't have a worse movie?
Yes, yes, I'm absolutely going to verify that he does not have.
Well, he
a
did
worse
make
movie.
that Piranha movie way back in the day.
Hey, that movie is fun for what it is.
It was also like his first movie, so you know.
Let's see.
Man, I always kind of forget he made Terminator. Those movies are sick.
The first two are.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Dun, 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 dun. Made that a
Ryder.
Lethal Battle Angel movie.
Okay.
I think he just wrote the script.
Yeah, this is just him writer. This is just writer.
Yeah, you gotta hit the.
Director. So
Yeah.
25 movies he's directed.
Why is there?
There's 5
there's-
Avatar movies coming.
You don't need those. Did an episode of Dark Angel? That's what's up.
kind of random for the
Yeah.
biggest director in Hollywood directed an
Yeah.
episode of.
Oh yeah, True Lies. True Lies is such a good movie.
It is. Let's
That's
see.
great.
Piranha 2. Like it's.
We're
it's
just
a
reading
dumb-
IMDb right
we're-
now, by the way. This
We've
is what
jumped
the
the
show has
ship from
become.
X-Men. We're just now looking and seeing.
X-Men's over, guys.
Yes. There's 5. There's 5 avatars coming. So 4 more, Jason. So Piranha 2 is a B movie. The Terminator is a masterpiece. Aliens is a masterpiece.
The Abyss is actually pretty good.
The Abyss is very good. Terminator 2 is a masterpiece.
That's the one he got the submarine for.
Yes.
The Abyss, yeah.
True
Apparently he still
Lies
got
is
that thing.
awesome.
Titanic is what it is.
Is one of the greatest movies ever made.
It is what it is. It's good. I don't need to see it again. You know.
Oh, it's one of my comfort movies. Fucking New Girl. I like the boat. I'm sorry.
There's a joke in New Girl about like how he started up the Billy Zane fan club after he watched that movie. He calls them the Zaniacs.
I remember that.
That's good stuff.
Bunch of documentaries and Avatar. Yeah, I can look
probably the
at
worst
looking
one.
at his directing credits. It is the worst thing that he has made, and I am including Piranha 2 in that.
Yeah, I am too actually, because at least Piranha.
And even
it's not
yeah,
it's not
you,
that.
you know what it is, and he
And it's
knows
not
what it is.
3 fucking hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even his writing, even his ooh.
I was about to say,
No,
don't worry,
no.
it's just based on characters created by.
Yep. No, I was gonna be like, oh well, maybe
Terminator Genesis.
Terminator. Like, no. Even the bad Terminators are still better than fucking Avatar.
Yeah, he apparently had nothing to do with him after 2. 'Cause,
No, he
Might have still produced them or something.
Yeah, he produced
The
Dark.
three?
Yeah, he
Oh,
produced 3
yeah.
and he produced Genesis.
Yeah.
Genesis is pretty bad.
Yeah, you know, it was
Oh,
just.
and Salvation, he was
Yeah.
on Salvation.
Did he have anything to do with the TV show actually?
I
Sarah
think he was
Connor
an EP.
Chronicles?
That was actually a really good show.
It was a good show. That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's pretty solid.
But yeah. Anyway,
But yeah, that's X-Men talk slash
that's
Avatar.
slash hating on Avatar and confirming that it's James Cameron's worst movie.
Yes. In summary, X-Men, good
X-Men,
sometimes.
good.
Comics are great.
Hang on. Let's do the math. So
Oh, how many are good?
We've got the show.
Yeah, show.
Okay.
I'd
You count
give it-
good, I'll count bad.
Bad.
Okay.
Show
Show
good.
Show good.
First one good.
Second one.
Second one good.
Third one.
Bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
First Class.
Good. Very good.
Days of Future Past.
Also very good.
Apocalypse.
Bad.
Bad. Origins. Really
Bad.
bad. The Wolverine.
Do we even? I don't know. I don't know where to put that one.
We'll give it good.
Well, okay. Yeah, we'll give it good.
All
We'll give
right.
it good.
Logan.
Also good.
Deadpool. We're not
I
counting.
feel like those don't count. Yeah.
Dark Phoenix. Bad.
Bad. New Mutants.
I will put New Mutants on bad.
Yes.
So
we got a
we're
7 to 5 ratio.
So
Yeah.
a little. So 60% of the time,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah. Which, you know,
So 60%
It's
of the time,
fine.
that's. I mean, it doesn't pass.
No.
Because it takes a 70 to pass. But it's not terrible rate. I mean, it's better than. Is it better than Superman?
Actually, well, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
100%
definitely better than Superman because we got
technically have
1,
two
2,
good ones.
yeah, 1, 2, and then trash.
Then the rest are bad. Yeah.
Well,
That's the
I
rest.
mean, we counted the TV shows, so I mean.
Oh yeah.
1,
Oh,
2.
then he's probably leaning to good. No, he's probably leaning.
Yeah,
good.
no.
He's probably leaning good because his TV shows are pretty consistently good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we count the
Exactly.
if we count the TV shows, Superman's on par with X-Men on quality. What about Batman?
Now Batman's probably a higher margin.
Of
'Cause
good
think about the bad ones. There's just Batman, Robin.
and Forever.
Yeah,
And I like Forever.
Forever.
I like Forever. I love Forever.
think
I
it's
don't
good.
consider Forever bad.
Yeah, I think it's a good
Um,
movie. Besides Tommy
so-
Lee Jones, that's bad.
Yeah.
Um,
So no, yeah. So you got the Snyders and
Mhm.
Batman and Robin. That's 3 bad movies,
Yeah, and that's it.
and that's it. Yeah. So
That's pretty good. Actually, Returns, but that's more a personal taste thing. I think it's not like a bad movie.
oh,
I mean, I don't like it.
Returns is quality though. Like Returns is a good movie that you don't like.
Yes.
That's an objective decision.
Yeah.
Like
Don't
that's
be objective. Look
yeah.
at it. I got this.
yeah.
That's
But no, like these are not. This was a complete like teardown of that's good, that's bad. Like,
Oh, totally. Yeah.
There is no like the only ambiguous thing on the X-Men list is New Mutants.
Well, okay. One thing about this too, they're kind of worse as an overall series because the continuity of these is just they beefed it from like day one. Like
Yeah.
they had to cut out these 2 movies in this movie, and then they went everyone's 10 years older in this one, and then 10 years older in that one, and all the kids are still the same age essentially.
Yeah.
Like what the hell? Also, like Logan is like the ending to like the original series, but maybe
Yes.
all of it. But they don't. Only the original stuff matters in it.
And X-23
None of this makes
is,
sense.
Yeah. And X-23
Yeah.
is the future. Well, I don't.
There's
know.
40 year or 30 years in between First Class, Days of Future Past. No, there's 40 years in between. Yeah, First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix. That makes no sense.
And
at
then
all.
if you count the Wolverine,
yeah,
that's like-
that's also part of the original kind of continuity.
and it's
itself,
part of so for First Class happens in '63,
Yeah,
and Logan happens in like 2030.
yeah. Well,
So
and
that's
remember how they always said
that's
in
60
the near
years.
future for
Yeah.
the X-Men movies. What is the near future? They never
Well-
say. Is it
well-
like 2004? Because it came
Yeah,
out
yeah,
in like
because in
2000.
2000, the near future is like, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we past the near
These
future?
movies don't make any sense,
They really don't.
but some of them are pretty good.
They are. 60% of the media
60%.
is good.
Yes.
The remaining 40% is not just bad, but really bad.
They're pretty bad.
Except for New Mutants. That one's
Man.
a preference.
It's kind of bad.
like I said, I put it on the bad list, but
Fair enough.
I would say that it's
Just gotta
it's
keep it
unique.
in there.
It's unique. But if we have to give it a pass or fail, I'll give it a fail.
Totally. Yeah. Well, if y'all want good X-Men stuff, watch those movies we talked about, and then read some comics because
Yes.
the X-Men comics have been pretty good.
Powers of X,
Consistently.
House of X.
Those are so good. House
That's
and
probably the
Powers.
best things to read right now.
It's one of the best stories I've ever had, honestly.
Really
Yeah.
is.
If you want to read the classics, Dark Phoenix Saga, Days of Future Past, God Loves, Man Kills, all kinds of good stuff. Chris Claremont, his whole time on it, amazing. Really good.
Jim Lee had good art.
Jim Lee had good art, and Omega Red.
Yeah.
I love Omega Red.
The Jim Lee era wasn't a bad era.
No, it's all right.
It wasn't
all right.
great.
It's a
There was
little-
nothing groundbreaking in it.
It's a bit much, I think, is what it is. You know, it's like a little too over style, like style over substance. You know, but it's a good time. You'll have fun with it. Yeah.
If you have Disney Plus, just watch the '92 show, and you'll get the summary of every good story pre.
Yeah, it's gonna look exactly like the Jim Lee X-Men, but it's gonna do all the Claremont stories.
Yep.
Which is actually kind of a genius move. If
It
you
is.
think about
It really is a nice balance.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. It's good stuff.
It
X-Men.
is. X-Men. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I think we've rambled excessively enough.
Yeah, we just started talking about Avatar.
Yeah.
Like a couple-
James K. Yep. No.
Yeah. Also, if
Fucking-
no one's ever seen the skit from SNL called Papyrus, it is about Ryan Gosling, who is obsessed with the fact that Avatar uses the papyrus font for their logo, and he can't get it out of his mind, and he thinks it's unacceptable, and it's so funny. I cannot recommend that more highly.
To YouTube we go.
Yeah. Some of you are already here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting up with our rambling, like you do every other Monday.
Yeah.
What should we do next Monday?
We could do. I don't know. You wanna take it a little easier, something with a little bit less. We could
I
talk
mean-
extensively about Daredevil and the what 2 things we have of Daredevil.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough media to do a Daredevil deep dive.
I got
Um,
ages about Daredevil.
because Daredevil will then bring into Punisher, and I can talk for ages about Punisher.
Yeah.
I think that's 2 tangents that people aren't. We did Superman 2 weeks ago, Jason. We just did Superman.
You know, we
Or no,
could-
that was last week. Was that last week? Superman was last
No,
week.
we did Watchmen last time.
Oh yeah,
We
Watchmen
did
was last week. Superman
before
was the
that.
week before. Yeah. Go back, watch the Superman episode. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
We
we
had
could do
notes
a
on
we
that
could do it like a comics episode. Yeah, because honestly, like as soon as we were talking about Daredevil and Punisher, I was like, ooh, what if we did a Marvel Knights thing? Talked about how Marvel Knights came around with Joe Quesada and all that, and then all the good books, because they are really good books, and they're kind of not underrated or anything. They're not as well known for the most part.
Okay, so how about we
So-
do Marvel Knights, and that will cover Punisher,
Daredevil,
Moon Knight.
Their initial 4, we'll talk about the whole like initiative and all that stuff, but their initial 4 were Punisher, Daredevil, Inhumans, and then it was something else. I can't remember. Moon Knight was one of the ones a little bit
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
I think. Along
Okay,
with like Black,
so-
it was Black Panther.
Black Panther. Okay.
It was Black Panther.
Fair.
Christopher Priest run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Marvel Knights will be next.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's sadly 3 Punisher movies.
Yeah, they're not the best. So in Daredevil, we could have talked about good Punisher stuff, really good Punisher
So
stuff.
Marvel Knights. So we'll touch on all of it.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. We'll talk about the comics. We'll talk about how it all
TV
came
shows,
about. Yeah,
and
we'll
then the
briefly mention
movies,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go about the comics, the build of them, and then the
Ooh, we can mention the Inhuman show because that's gonna be one of the books. Yeah.
that's
Oh, I'm actually gonna have to watch it now. I'll watch.
Yeah,
I've seen some clips.
bro. I watched the pilot, the
Oh, yeah.
2-hour-long movie that they put in the theater.
Yeah.
That they put in the theater because it was
why
going to
did they
be
put it in the theater?
because it was going to be such a big deal. Oh my God,
It's bad.
it's so bad. Like
It-
I
and
just
There's some good casting. They still beat
it was some good casting.
like
and
Ramsey Bolton as Maximus the Mad. That's
I-
perfect.
it's-
I love that. I think it's great.
It was so bad that I don't even think the full season aired. I'm pretty sure they cut it off.
They aired I think it got like cut off in production.
Yeah, I
You
think
know what
it was
Yeah.
so bad. They were like, well, we did 8 episodes already. We're supposed to be 12, but that was so badly received that we're just not going to spend the money on the last 4.
Yeah. We don't have the money for Medusa CGI hair, so we're gonna shave her head. And Karnak's an idiots.
Yeah, it's
There's so much. Like, I actually like Inhumans quite a bit.
yeah, and humans are a cool team.
They're cool.
But
yeah.
that pilot.
Fuck that all up.
That pilot like broke. Like, I mean, it almost broke the MCU because they were supposed to be the next thing to be like huge, and whenever it was like, no, that went bad.
Yeah. Well, there's that whole talk of a movie with Vin Diesel and like which one would have been weird. Like if we never saw him out of it, I think that'd be totally fine. But like, no.
Anyway.
Yeah, this is all for next week.
This is all for, yeah. So
Marvel Knights.
Marvel Knights is going to be next week's show.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening to our excessive, silly rambling. Hey, we went through an entire episode without talking about Mr. Miracle, Miracle Man,
We're not done yet.
fucking Death of Superman, and Nightfall.
True.
We are growing as people.
Right? It's almost like this is professional or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
Marvel Knights next week. Thanks for spending your evening with us. I'll see y'all tomorrow for Tuesday Night Treasures with new collectibles and Marvel and independent comics. And then Chandler, will see you next week where we will ramble about Marvel Knights and probably something else that we are unreasonably aggravated by.
I think that one will be pretty fun because we both really like Marvel Knights.
Marvel Knights is probably, yeah.
Marvel Knights is good.
It's pretty cool.
It's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool.
that's our show.
You have a good night, guys.
Take care. Read Mr. Miracle. It's got to happen.